Hey coding owls, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about question 5 from your YCMOU BCA second year series. It's a simple question. Write a class automobile with default constructor. Write a class plane which extends automobile and has a default constructor as well as the parameterized constructor. Then write a class Airbus with a default constructor which extends plane. So the rule they are talking about is nothing but that whenever any subclass constructor is invoked, it by default invokes the default constructor of its superclass unless except parameterized constructor is explicitly invoked using the super keyword. So this is basically a thumb rule when it comes to inheritance. It says that whenever you call any subclass constructor, now there are two types of constructor, default and parameterized. And whenever you call any subclass constructor, it will by default invoke the default constructor of its superclass. So if you can see here, I called Airbus. Airbus have a default constructor here, but it is calling the default constructor of plane. Now plane itself is a subclass of automobile, so it will call the default constructor of automobile. Now automobile is again the default constructor of java.lang.object, so it will call it there. It will invoke everything like get instantiated whatever it wants and pass it down. And at this point, what will happen? Call will be given to automobile. Automobile will pass on the call to the plane, and plane will pass on the call to the Airbus. So you can see there is a chain formation happening here, and this is nothing but what we call as constructor chaining, which is a very important rule. So let's go and implement this rule. So as per requirement, I will first create the class automobile, and inside automobile, let us quickly create a constructor, and I will call it as system.out.println automobile constructor invoked. Okay, I'm keeping just a single value here, nothing. So because we want to show the practicals about constructor chaining, we'll just take two constructors. Next, I'll create a class plain.java, and here I'll create plain bracket bracket, and it's my constructor, so I'll say system.out.println plain constructor invoked, and we are required to have two constructors here. So I will do what plane, whether it is a twin engine or a four engine plane. So let's say int number of engines, I will pass it on here, and system.out.println I'll say plane, just for purpose, because we are not writing any other code, so I'm just displaying it using plain, and x means a parameter here. So plain constructor invoke, which is a parameterized constructor. I'll show you how to call that as well. And the last one, but one thing we need to do here is we extends the automobile. Okay, we extends the automobile. And the last one is we'll create a class by name airbus.java, and under airbus.java, what am I going to do is simple again. I'll create an Airbus constructor, system.out.println Airbus constructor invoked. Perfect. And I will extend this to automobile. Sorry, I will extend this to plane. Okay. Now let's create a runner file. So I'll create a runner.java, and under runner.java, what I'll do is have my main method, and under my main method I will say Airbus is equal to new Airbus. This will invoke the cycle for me. So let us quickly just compile these things one by one. I will switch to practical file, and I'll say Java C. Let's compile airbus.java. It will in turn compile automobile and plane. Yeah, it has done that. And then I'll say Java C runner.java and Java space runner. So the output I'm expecting here is that the call will actually go to Airbus, like as we have seen here. The call will go to Airbus, but Airbus will not instantiate itself. It will first go and make the call to the default constructor of plane. Why? Because of the thumb rule. Then it will go and make the default call to the default constructor of automobile. and from there it will make the default constructor to object, and then the chain will come down and down and down. And so the output I'm expecting is automobile in constructor invoke, plane constructor invoke, and Airbus constructor invoke. Let's see, do we get the same thing? See, automobile invoked, plane invoked, and Airbus invoked. So one quick analytic facts what I found is 70% of the people who come and watch my videos are not yet subscribed to my channel. This would be a good time to go and click that subscribe button. Thank you. And the next part of this video is where we want to have the plane have two constructor, and we want to invoke that parameterized constructor rather than the default constructor. So for doing that, we need to go to airbus.java, and here the first line what we will pass here, and we'll say super of, let's say I want a 4 engine. So there is a super keyword which invokes the parameterized constructor the way you want it. Okay. So I will again compile Airbus, and now I can just run the runner this time. That's no problem because nothing changed in runner, and now you can see automobile invoked, but this time the parameterized constructor of plane was invoked, and then the Airbus was invoked. I have added the link to the code in description, and you can check it out from there. Thank you for watching this video, and please do subscribe.